Decide 2014 continues.
Welcome back, everybody. Ed Berliner, J.D. Hayworth, and the team. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Newsmax Network with You Decide 2014. First things first, check in right now with John Bachman, see who's pulling ahead in some of the other races that we're following around the nation. John.
Well, guys, let's recap and refresh some of the results we have right now. First, we'll start in Wisconsin. Take a look again at this crucial governor's race. Scott Walker defeating Mary Burke there by a margin of 58-40. This was huge. This race was not supposed to be this, the spread was not supposed to be this big according to the polls, but Scott Walker winning this one going away despite a recent visit from President Obama to campaign on behalf of Mary Burke. That apparently did not help her much at all. Also, a big announcement now in the Georgia Senate race. David Perdue has won that race 55-42, or really 56-42%. A lot of folks thought that one was headed for a runoff for sure, but David Perdue eclipsing that 50% margin by 5 points to go on. Also, we're going to take a look at some House races too. In New York's 1st congressional district right now, Lee Zeldin leading Tim Bishop 53 to about 47%. That could be a key race right there. Also in New York's 11th district, Michael Grimm winning re-election there despite some controversy, including an indictment that he is under right now. But in the area of Staten Island, Michael Grimm winning. We also have another Senate race to announce for you. The AP calling the Oregon Senate race for Jeff Markley, defeating Monica Welby in that race. Welby had put up a pretty good fight considering that is Oregon, but Jeff Markley is going to be the winner there in that race. Also a couple ballot measures that have failed, that so-called personhood ballot initiative and the genetically modified food labeling bill in Colorado. Those both failed, as did the medicinal marijuana ballot measure in the state of Florida. Guys, back to you.
All right, John, thanks so much. Let's go ahead and spin right now. Bring in internationally renowned pollster and political analyst John Zogby, who joins us live from Washington, D.C. John, it has been an interesting evening thus far, and it would seem as if a couple of the numbers did not go as you had earlier expected.
No. In fact, you know what? It was the president, stupid. And that was the message in terms of the Senate. However, you know, there were very close gubernatorial races that we thought would spell out maybe an anti-incumbent year, and a lot of those incumbents are winning. So Democrats and Republicans. Some of them tight races, some not tight races at all. So, but I think the message for the evening was just that it was all about the president as far as the Senate is concerned, and the GOP pickup is substantial.
So, John, the plate of crow that some have suggested we send your way, you're just going to forward that on to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. I mean, you had the numbers for Charlie Crist that, well, you admitted the poll was an outlier, but you had an incredible win streak going on in Florida. Looks like Rick Scott has changed that, and perhaps it's the economic success he's enjoyed here in the Sunshine State. Your quick post-mortem on Scott's apparent win to retain the governor's mansion.
Well, number one, I wish I had not done that poll. What are you going to do? You can't win them all. But I'm human. Hey, guys, he won a victory. These were two damaged candidates. You know, it was a hell of a choice in Florida, and frankly, I actually did think that Charlie Crist would win it. It was a nasty campaign, awful lot of money that was spent there, but Rick Scott wins it, period.
John, with regard to Iowa, I wanted to get your take there because as we look right now, we haven't mentioned it a whole lot now, but we're starting to see some numbers coming in. We're seeing maybe about 50% or so of the precincts in right now, showing Ernst with a 2-point lead over Braley at this point. And Joni Ernst has been making up an awful lot of ground here in the last couple of hours. Started very far down as they first got to the actual, or the beginning, actually accounting some of this. Where do you think this is going to do? Your idea on here.
Oh, I think that she wins it. I don't think that she wins it by the margin that the Des Moines Register had indicated, you know, of 7 percentage points, but she wins it, you know, outright. And so that's another seat. In fact, I think one of the networks has already called that. I thought prematurely, but it clearly is trending her way.
John, you have been concentrating on the next generation of voters, the new generation of voters, the millennials. As you go back and do your post-election review and you try to measure the turnout, is this basically more of the same, where you have those at the upper end of the demographic scale, 55 plus, casting votes, or do you think you're going to see any renewed interest on the part of younger voters when you measure just exactly who showed up today?
What the exit polls are showing is that 18 to 29-year-olds were about 12% of the total vote. They were 10% of the total vote in 2010, so they bumped up. However, 18 to 29-year-olds were 19% of the total vote in the last two presidential races. So now, will there be increased interest? You know, if there's a charismatic candidate, possibly. But I think millennials are going to be increasingly turned off by the political system. I think they see it as too slow. I think they see it as log jammed. This is a very impatient age cohort that sees problems and wants them solved.
All right, John Zogby, thanks so much for joining us. Rick Scott will be very happy that you are incorrect on the Florida race, trust me. And indeed, you are human, as we're learning with a whole lot of balloting that's coming in tonight, a lot of the numbers.
Well, at least,
thank
John,
you for reminding me of that.
well, we appreciate your candor, John, because a lot of times in politics, it's never complain, never explain, just move on and attack. So your candor is welcome, sir.
And for the moment, we take a break. We come back right here on You Decide 2014.
The Midterms You Decide 2014 will be back in just a moment.